Hi everyone, it's Dave at Vinyl Nirvana, and today we're going to tell you how to check your fuse. If your turntable isn't turning on, your TD-125, it's just going to show you where the fuse is and how to replace that if need be. Obviously, it's very important that you have your unit unplugged for this. You're going to want to remove the top bladder. You could leave the belt in place. I just happen to have this one off here. Protect your tone arm by having some kind of tie on it so the arm can't wobble. If you want to take the head shell off, if it comes off, or at least protect the stylus while you're doing this. You might want to have some kind of padding on the surface of the table you're working on to protect the finish of the turntable that you're working on also. So we're going to turn this up on its side, and I'll check the camera angle. See how we're doing here for picture. Okay, so most of these bottoms are held in. They've been altered a lot over time, but most of these bottoms are held in by 4 screws here. And I got myself started here by removing the 2 on the left. In this case, they're held in by regular screws that have a regular flathead. Yours might, over time, be changed to Phillips, but I'm just going to remove these 4 screws, which will reveal the bottom. And the bottom will come out. I should mention that if you have one of my custom tables with a custom plinth, it's also still held in by 4 screws, but you don't need to remove those 4 screws all the way. You can just back those off maybe a third of the way and leave those in place to put the turntable back together. So again, with the turntable unplugged, this is the box where the fuse is. So we're going to, that's a straight screwdriver, so we're going to remove that. And I'll show you where the fuse is. Don't lose this screw that's on top there. So this is the fuse right here. In some cases that can just wiggle free. So just, you know, if you see that one side or the other is out, you can just push it into place as you see there. If you want to examine the fuse, if you have a fuse puller, you can pull it out with that, but these are pretty easy to get out with your hand. And just want to examine, there's a filament on the inside, and you want to make sure that that is straight across. If it's not, you'll need to replace the fuse, and I'll put the size in the comment section of the YouTube video for this. And if it's still in line, the filament isn't broken and the turntable isn't running, that means that it's another thing that's causing the issue here. But anyway, this is how to check the fuse, where it's supposed to be, how it's supposed to be clipped into place on a TD-125. If the fuse is good, the next thing to check if the strobe light is not coming on is this switch and the solder points here that go into that switch. So is that working? Is this mechanism that comes from the top to turn it on working with this switch should be examined, and whether you have the confidence to do that, you know, I'm not sure, but you know, that would be the next culprit to check. If the strobe light isn't coming on, would be the switch, the solder points of this switch, and the mechanics of the switch itself. So that's the video for today, where the fuse box is, where the fuse is located on a TD-125 Mark II. It's also very similar in a Mark I. And in some cases, you'll see this housing just doesn't exist. Again, over time, alterations people have made on their turntable, sometimes that's missing altogether. Hopefully this was helpful, and hopefully you've got the easy solution and just need to replace your fuse or push it back into place.